Hello and welcome. I'm Saffron from Healing Womanhood, and today I'm at Barbour Coaching with Suzanne Barbour. Suzanne is a brilliant life coach and menopause mentor. So today we're going to find out a little bit about Suzanne's work, and we're going to do a therapy swap. So I'm going to get some coaching and Suzanne's going to get some EFT, which is very exciting. So Suzanne, thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you very much for coming in as well. I'm really looking forward to what we're going to do today.
Yes, it should be fun. So do you want to tell me a little bit about your coaching practice and your mentorship practice?
Yeah, so we do quite a lot of different things here at Barbour Coaching. My personal specialties, I do a lot of work with women around menopause, so that's educating around menopause, so before you get there, but also helping and coaching people through that phase of life, because it can be very difficult for a lot of people, quite traumatic in some cases. So we want to make sure that we give people a lot of options around how they can then feel empowered to manage their menopause moving forward, and also protect their long-term health. So that's one piece. I also work with people who have experienced life-changing illnesses and injuries. Again, most of this is because of my own personal experiences as well. I work with people who are going through divorce and breakup as well, and I also work with adults who are navigating an adult diagnosis of ADHD as well. So it's quite a broad.
Yeah, that's a good range. It's like a lot of different specialisms, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, and again, a lot of that was all born through personal experience, because I have experienced all of those things, and found great difficulty in getting the relevant help that I needed. So that's really what made me go, okay, well, I want to be that person for somebody else, so that they've got somebody that they can speak to, and not kind of, I guess, flail around and, years later say, oh, I wish I'd known that at the time, because I've said that so many times, when you find things out, and as I've been going through my training, oh, I wish I'd have realised that when I was going through it, and it might have kind of put me on a slightly different course. So we want to make sure that nobody else has to say that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got that lived experience kind of peer support element to bring to it, which is so valuable. And then what training did you add to that?
So gosh, I've done all kinds of different certificates. So of course I'm a certified life coach. I worked with the menopause experts to train with them. But I also train with clinical experts as well, menopause doctors, and have get a lot of CPD, continuing development, with them, which is really important, because obviously the face of that research changes often.
Yes.
And likewise, I have also trained with Sarah Davison, who's an international divorce coach, through her academy with divorce and breakup. So each specialty that I have, I've also certified in.
Amazing.
With a variety of different people.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So people are in very good hands when they come to
I
see
hope
you.
so. I like to think so.
So what can someone expect when they book in with you?
Well, it's a very individual experience. I do work with businesses as well, but on a one-to-one basis. I will always offer a free 30-minute consultation to start off with, so we can really dig into what's happening for that person, and make sure, first of all, that I am the right person for them. Because sometimes we don't always connect with the people that we're being counselled or coached by. So it's really important that they feel that they are in safe hands, and they feel like I can help them. And also we give them information about what coaching is and how we can help them, so that they are then happy in the decision that they then want to work with us going forward. And then really from there, it's about very simple steps and changes that people can make, that they're in control of, that they choose to make, that support them in a way that works for them. Because all of the things, all the topics that I've talked about are very individual experiences. If we talk about menopause as an example, everybody who is born with ovaries will go through it. It's a universal experience. There's no two ways about it, but it is a very individual experience as well, and we're all affected in different ways. So it's really important that we work with that. People's lifestyles are very different. What people have going on in their lives is very different. So we need to tailor our approach to every single person in a way that fits for them. And that's what they can expect when they come to us, is that we work with them where they're at to help them to get to where they want to be. So it's very much driven by the client and what they want to achieve.
Amazing. So it's essentially kind of creating a space for them to build their own dream lives, or their own future the way they want to see it.
Yeah, absolutely, and just sort of encouraging those choices, encourage different ways of thinking, different ways of looking at things, so that they can really, it's giving people tools and choice, I think, so the tools to move forward, so when they do finish working with us, however sad that is for me, it's really lovely to be able for people to say, I've got the tools now, I feel confident in doing this by myself and managing this going forward, which is really what it's all about.
Yeah, that's a lovely thing to see, isn't it? Rather than having people feel kind of dependent on your support, knowing that your support has got them to a point where they can manage by themselves, and they know what to do to keep themselves.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what's important. And if things change, we're always here for people. We don't, but like you say, we don't want to be a crutch. We want to be a support. We want to give tools and let people go and flourish and deal with things. But of course, if things change, we're always here. If if people need to check back in with us and just have a one-off session just to work things through.
So when you get a new client, and I feel like I know the answer to this, is there a usual kind of number of sessions that people would have to begin with? And what I feel like you're going to say is it really depends on the person.
You're absolutely right, yeah, because we can really dig deep on one session, and people can be like, okay, this is great, I've got what I need from that, and off they go. Other people, I've had people come and have one session. I've had people that have worked with me for quite a long period of time. So again, it's very client driven. It's about their confidence levels, what they need. I don't like tying people into a typical, like, you will need 6 sessions, because for some people 6 sessions is nowhere near enough. You might just be kind of scraping the surface with that. And for others, they might not need all of that. So you're right. Yeah. Very, very driven by the client.
Very tailored. Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you. So what about you? Tell me all about your work and your title and your work and how we would get involved with you.
So I'm an EFT practitioner and hypnotherapist, and studied for both of those things at separate times, and I specialise mainly in supporting women recovering from trauma, and I think that can be sort of a funny thing for people to understand sometimes, because we imagine trauma to be like, the major event, the attack or the car accident. And actually it's not the event, but it's the way that it sits in your body, and the way that it sits in your nervous system. And so all of us raised in this society have trauma imprints in our bodies and trauma patterns in the way that we behave. So it's work that can benefit anyone. And I absolutely love it. I just love digging into that deep stuff and finding out, where did this come from, and seeing someone have that realisation, like, oh, this is the exact way that I felt when my dad said this when I was 5, and tapping on that event. So when I say tapping, that's the EFT, tapping on that event and seeing it clear through. And with EFT, that happens so quickly and so in such a beautiful way.
That's amazing, because it's right what you say. When we think about trauma, we think about big events like a big injury or an illness or something like that, but like you say, that it can be this, I don't want to say smaller things because that's not really the right way to refer to it, but the other things that we don't necessarily class as trauma that can happen to us or build up, or the things that stick in our mind that were unpleasant or difficult. So that's brilliant. So what was it that brought you to that?
So I have always had this want to understand myself. So again, it comes from experience, like with you, and as a teenager that drove me to do a psychology degree, and then I studied counselling and found myself quite dissatisfied with those approaches and continued searching. And it was when my daughter was born, actually, that a friend introduced me to EFT, and I was just like, wow, how does everyone not know about this? It's so powerful, and so it's just amazing. And I've been reflecting on this over the last few days. Why doesn't everyone know about it? And I think it's because it sounds a bit sort of snake oil, like here's a cure-all for everything. But it's because it goes into those underlying emotions and underlying beliefs that it can have these really wide-ranging impacts in life, and can really make big changes in all kinds of areas. So this morning I watching a video about tapping on finances, and that's often the one that people are like, how can tapping change your finances? But again, it's your beliefs, and changing your beliefs changes your actions in the world. It changes the way that you present in the world when you're speaking to people, and that creates opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. But I think am I right in saying that EFT is quite an ancient concept, but actually it's quite new here, and that's maybe why.
Kind of, yeah. So it uses the meridian system, which is traditional Chinese medicine. It's what we use in acupuncture and acupressure, and those are very ancient disciplines. So the points when we tap together,
on the pressure points.
The points are to do with the meridian system. EFT adds in the talking element. So, and the purpose of the talking element, I used to say it's like meridian therapy combined with talk therapy. But the purpose of the talking is to bring the focus onto the thing that you're looking at, and it is actually a very embodied, very somatic modality. So it does create those changes in the body. So EFT as it is now came about in 1980. It was developed by Gary Craig, and he was the one who kind of put those things together. I'm tempted to go off on a ramble about the whole history. That came out of another therapy. But yeah, so the 80s was when EFT as we now know it was developed.
Wow, that's incredible. So if somebody was coming to you, what might they expect as a new client? What would that look like for them?
Yeah, so again, I do the free 30-minute consultation. Let me get my words out. And it's got a very similar purpose to yours, to feel each other's energy, for them to know whether they want to work with me, for me to know that I can work with them, and to find out where they want to get to. So we would set a kind of a goal. And in most cases, I will do the 6-session block, and that's not, set in stone. If there's someone who's got a pain and they just want to work on that pain and they don't want to get into their childhood or anything like that, we can do a couple of sessions, and EFT can be really effective in that way. But it kind of works like paracetamol. It'll wear off and you'll need to do it again. Whereas if you get into the underlying emotions, which can take a couple more sessions, then that's when you get to the point where it's not coming back anymore, and it's really shifted. So again, it is very different for different clients, and it depends what people need and what people want. And I'll keep it as client-led as I possibly can, because it's for people to decide where they want to get to and what they want to achieve.
Fantastic. Sounds like we've got, even though we're quite different disciplines, we've got very similar approaches.
Yeah, I think that whole client-led, letting people decide what they want to achieve, it's so important, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why we get on so well.
I think so. Definitely. Brilliant.
Brilliant. So, shall we give everything a go? Shall we try some
dig
coaching?
in. So tell me a little bit about why you wanted to engage in some coaching today. What issue is it that we want to tackle?
So I have recently gone full-time with my business and taken it to the next step, which I'm really excited about. And it's also, for me, come with this slightly frantic energy. Like, I must do things. I must spend all of my time on my business. And it doesn't feel quite as directed as it could be. So what I like to do is get to a place where I can have a plan that's not taking up every second of every day and that doesn't feel panicky.
Okay. So have you been used to working in a structured environment previously, and then you've gone to...
Yeah, so I've come straight out of employed work. I had a job at the garden. I worked at an organic garden for 4 years, and that was absolutely lovely. And I'd reached a point with that where I didn't feel like I could achieve anything more there. It was a very small company. And so as lovely as that was, I decided to move on when I saw a job come up at Red Balloons, which was supporting a charity that supports people offering peer support, so supporting the supporters. And that job just didn't quite work out for me. So I came from that. I got quite ill, actually, and left that job. And I thought, this is the universe telling me that it's time to really commit to healing womanhood and the work that I do with that, the trauma recovery work, and the also some menopause support work, and it's all the women's empowerment stuff. So yeah, it's going from structure to making my own structure. And I want to be really, part of me wants to be really disciplined about that, and and part of me wants to just take it easy, like, not take it easy, but be gentle with myself. And I keep saying to myself, there's no point being self-employed if you're going to be a terrible boss to yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think what was I think probably the first thing to ask is, what was the reason for you wanting to be self-employed? Because there's usually a good why. So what is your why?
So for me doing the work that I'm doing, this work, or for being self-employed?
Both. Let's tackle both.
Okay. So I feel that my soul is the soul of a self-employed person. I don't work well within somebody else's structure. I can't. Well, it's not true to say that I can't find meaning within somebody else's project, because I certainly have, and I've really, seen the value in what I've been doing in employed work. But I find a lot more meaning in the things that I'm driven by. And kind of to give you a bit more background about me, I've home educated my children, and I've made all of these decisions that sort of step outside of the usual structures, and self-employment feels like part of my personality, if you know what I mean.
I do.
I feel like it's the right thing for me, and this work in particular, it feels like a calling. And I just love it. I love doing an EFT session with a client and seeing them come from, and often it's within one session, come from a difficult place, and then just feeling so bright, and you see people's posture change, and it's just so lovely. And to be helping people as well, that feels really vital to me, that my work is helping people.
Yeah. So I love that kind of sounds like that taps into your sense of purpose and your own sort of internal values about being of service and helping people. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And creativity as well. I think that's a big part of what I need in my work and in my life. And so part of what I offer is I have a Patreon site, so people can join as members, and so for that I'm creating EFT videos and artworks and writing and putting all of that into there for people to have like the monthly membership.
Sounds amazing.
So yeah, it's really fun. I really enjoy it.
Oh, that's good. So you say that you come in at it with a bit of frantic energy, so tell me a little bit more about that. Where does that come from, do you
Suzanne,
think?
it's around money stuff.
Right.
It's a worry that there's not going to be enough money. So I've always had doing this alongside something else. So if the clients don't come in, I've got that to fall back on. And now if the clients don't come in, or if the membership doesn't build up, because that's what I'm really keen to promote at the moment, is the membership and getting that to build up, because I think that could be it's going to become a really lovely community. There's just it's money worry that's giving me that franticness, and I think there's a little bit of lack of trust in myself. Like, if I'm gentle with myself, I'll just sit and watch TV all day, which I know isn't true.
Right, so you worry about that sort of procrastination as well. Okay. What's interesting about that is it's really common. When I speak to people who are self-employed, all of those things are completely valid, but incredibly common as well, because we are responsible for our own income. It's all on us now. We're not used to, or we've got used to, from personal experience and from others that I speak to, years, in some cases, years of regular income, and then suddenly it's our responsibility, which is frightening, isn't it?
And it's that word responsibility, that's the scary word. I'm responsible for making this work.
Yeah, and that can, for a lot of people, be a big weight. So I think what we can do is really look at the mechanisms as to how we can lift that weight a little bit, but put some structure in place for you that is a structure, but is also flexible enough for you to still feel, you know, you get that self-employed element, you can still be kind to yourself, it's got some movement in it, but you still get the things done that you need to get done.
Yes, that sounds brilliant. And yeah, I think it's getting the things done that I need to get done without adding in little other kind of buzzing around, and being a bit more directed, because I think I'm going this way. And all of the things that I'm committed to, I want to stay committed to, but I don't want to commit to any more things. So at the moment I've got my membership, which I love, my one-to-one clients, which I also love. I'm starting a menopause group. Oh, I meant to tell you about that.
Yay.
I'll tell you more about that later. And I'm doing these therapy swaps, this video series as well. So that's 4 quite big things. And I've got a collaboration in the pipeline with another colleague. So yeah, they're kind of things where I've come from this frantic energy thinking, I need to do something, what should I do now? Oh, I'll email this person, and then all of the people have come back and gone, yeah, let's do that. And now I've got to do all of that.
Now you have to do it all.
Yeah, which is great, but I'm sort of thinking maybe I could have done that at a gentler pace.
So is there a way that you might be able to create a little bit more space to give that pace, do you think, or are you kind of in it now?
I think, I mean, I have done that. I think I've, you know, the person that I'm collaborating with, we've put that kind of towards the beginning of November, so that I've got the time to prepare for the menopause event that I'm taking part in, that you're running. Yeah, and so that I've got time to, I need to catch up with my membership offerings. And yeah, so what's happened is this week's got really, really crammed, and I'm one thing to another all week. And then next week looks really, really open, because I've seen this week and I've gone, oh, I've got to stop booking things in. And then next week is really open, which is good because it gives me time to do the creativity. But what I'd like is a more constant, like a more consistent kind of amount of things, rather than this sort of loads of things, nothing.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like setting a day that's my meetings day, or I mean, that works to a certain extent, but it depends when other people are available, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But again, that's exactly what it's about. You know, I saw your light bulb go on there, like, let's have a day for meetings. If people can work within that framework, brilliant. But if they can't, and you just need to slip that for maybe 1 or 2, you know, think about your boundaries of, you know, if they can't meet me on a Thursday, for example, then what slots can I open up?
Yeah.
Or is there a way maybe that you can manage your calendar where you give them the choice but within your boundaries? So for example, a lot of people use like electronic calendars, and they send out a link, this is my availability, pick from that.
Yeah, I think I need to get to grips with technology around that, because I've got that for clients to book in, but I wonder, I mean, you might know, is there a way of setting it so that you can offer certain times if it's a client and certain other times if it's a meeting or a collaboration?
Yeah, so I mean, there's lots of different platforms that you can investigate. I think Calendly's quite a good one that's used quite often, but for different types of appointments you can set your availability for those appointments, so you can set your days on which days are going to be client days, which days are going to be business days, which days, you know, for you are going to be admin days as well, if you want an admin day or a creativity day, or even half a day. You know, you can sort of decide on your calendar, if you need to space it out a little bit more, where you want those timings generally to be, and then of course if you need to flex it, you can flex it.
I think that's what I'm getting is just like this technology. I get quite, there's nothing that I can't do. I will always manage to do it, but it might take me like 10 times as long as it would take my son to do the same thing.
I think that happens at our age, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that might just be part of it.
But if that doesn't feel comfortable for you, then is there a way that you feel you could manage something similar, but in a manual way? So is that you know, these are the dates or the days that you say to people, this is when I'm available, what works for you within that. So for you,
That's,
it would be more around maybe setting those boundaries.
I think that's what I want to do. I can get really sucked into this. Everything has to be automated, and it doesn't. That works great for the people that it works for, and it doesn't have to work for everyone. It doesn't have to work for me. I can do, and I have been coming back to a more human way of doing things. Like for a long time, thinking, I don't love social media. I want to go and meet people in the real world, and that's what I'm kind of moving towards. So the structure that I've got in my week at the moment, just to kind of come back to that, I am being very disciplined about my time off.
Good.
Which feels really important, because I know that if I work 7 days a week, I can do it for a month, and then that's me done. Which is not what I want for this work. So yeah, I have weekends off. I don't look at my emails or anything at all. And then I have Thursdays, I take my daughter to college, and I spend the day with my partner. So those are the times when I'm not working. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Friday are my work days. So it's within that I need to come up with, this is going to be this and that's going to be that kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. So with that, I think tapping back to that frantic energy, because I think so many of us know how that feels. One of the things that works or can work really well, and again, tell me how this feels for you, is getting it out of your head first of all and onto a piece of paper.
Yeah.
So everything that's swimming around in here, write down onto a piece of paper, because then once we've got it in front of us, then we can start to give it structure. We can start to fit it into where we want it to be on our calendars, on our to-do lists, or however you like to structure your days, because it feels busier when it's in here, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so it's writing down everything that needs to happen and then fitting it in.
Yeah, just taking time to literally just dump
simple,
this out. It is, but this is the thing. It is, but when you're in here, it's really difficult to get out here.
Yeah.
So literally, just by putting it on a piece of paper, then you can look at it and think, okay, well, that's probably next year actually, so I can put that into next year's calendar, and then maybe this is next week, or this is urgent, and you can just start to sort of piece those things together in your calendar about when you need to do things. Know that then it's covered off because you've scheduled it in, whether that's in a paper diary or an electronic diary, and all of those things are there. And then as you think of things, as they then start to come back into your head, do that exact same exercise. So then write it down. Where does it need to be? Let's give it a place. So it's almost like, have you ever moved house?
Yes, very recently.
You moved house very recently, so you know what this feels like then. So thinking about where you want things to place. So as you bring a box into a room, you think, okay, this is where I would like that, this is where I would like that. And does it work all the time? No, it doesn't, because you might need to move things around a little bit until it feels good and it feels right. But it's about using your calendar like that, in a way that feels right and works well for you. But then you fitting in, of course, taking time for yourself as well, that self-care. Like you say, if we all work 7 days a week, we're going to burn out real fast, which we don't want to do. And having that balance of family, as well as making sure that you've got the money coming in as well.
Yeah, I like that, because also if I've got that written down, I can give that to my daughter, because she goes to college on a Monday and a Thursday. She's still home educated, so there's a lot of, I'm bored, there's nothing fun to do, and when I was out at work, she managed. So if I can say, this is my calendar for today, this is when you need to be off managing your own time and working on your own projects.
Brilliant.
Then I think that would work a lot better for her than not really, because as I'm reflecting on it, she doesn't know when I'm available and when I'm not. So yeah, putting in little lunch breaks as well, where I can spend half an hour with her. Yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
All right. So on the other piece of that, then there was that kind of around where's the money coming from, the finance piece.
Yeah.
So do you have any mechanisms at the moment that you can? I feel like you're quite visual because you're creative, aren't you?
I am quite visual. I'm creative. Sorry. I think I'm quite kinesthetic.
Okay.
Yeah, more than visual. Yeah.
Okay.
Try it and see if it works.
Where do you have the information about what's coming in and when at the moment? Is it all up here or?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's in all different places, and haven't even organised it so that everything's going into my business bank account. I need to make sure that everything's connected up properly, really, because yeah, even in the last week I've made payments out from my personal account and thought, I need to remember to write that on my accounts, and yeah, I need to get my membership site so that those payments are going into the business bank account and everything's yeah, it is a bit chaotic, to be honest.
Okay, so because that feeds into that feeling of front when you don't know or you're not sure or things are all over the place and you can't kind of look at it in one place, then it gets, again, it's like, oh, yeah, where am I?
So it's things like where I've set things up before I've opened my account and I just haven't necessarily changed it. So yeah, if a client pays through my website, that's still going into my personal account.
Right.
And then I've got to go through when I'm doing my accounts. I've got to go through my business account, my personal account, my PayPal account, make sure I've got anything written down that's coming in cash or gone out in cash. And that's messy.
So do you think that's something worth looking at in the more immediate future, to be able to kind of just join those things up a little bit and put those things in the right place?
Yeah, I don't think it'll take much doing. I think it's just one of those things where you think, it's not fun.
Feels less important. And not fun, yeah. As long as they're not fun bits of the business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but again, it's these little things that sort of give you that clarity and that security, because if it's all joined into the one bank account, all those different elements of income, if you like, then you can see, first of all, from your bank account where everything is coming from.
Yeah.
But also forecast wise, and thinking about what you've got coming up and what you've achieved, you know, there's ways that you can do that. I don't know, do you have any sort of accounting software or?
I'm just on Excel at the moment.
You're just on Excel at the moment. Brilliant. So if Excel's your thing, so it could just be that you set up an income tracker every month, and every month you fill out, you know, it can literally just be as simple as, for example, October, you've got your days running down the side, and each day you write down how much you've got coming in for each individual element. Then maybe for November, if you've got things booked in, you can then fill that in as well if it's booked in, so that then you can see what's going on ahead. And then if you've got things that you need to backfill, or you think, oh, actually November's looking a bit light, can I backfill that, or do I need to cram a bit more into October because November's going to be quieter? Or you know, so again, it gives you that view of what have I got and what do I need in one place.
Yeah, it's being able to see it, isn't it? And knowing what's going on. I love that, and I love the other bit that I thought I really want to do that is having a day each month to just sit down and do the money bits. It's not even going to be a day, is it really? It's just, I think, half a day is going to be plenty of time to just look at that and stay on top of it. And as you say, get that overview of where things are at and what needs to happen.
Good.
That's brilliant.
Does that feel okay? So there's your three things then. So do your brain dump and work out your time on your calendar. Have a look at pulling all your financials into one place, and then looking at your spreadsheet for your little plan going forward and your income. How does that?
That sounds brilliant, and I love that we've got this on video, so I don't need to make notes.
I'll be phoning you next week to say, how are you getting on? But I think also, with that, I know I joke about it, but actually with that, sometimes when we work for ourselves, there's a propensity, and I know I speak from experience here and, from other people that I work with, that, oh, well, I'm only answerable to me, so I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah. And then tomorrow slips and it goes further and further. And before you know it, you're back to chaos again because you've kind of gone, oh, well, I'll do it tomorrow. So I would always say for people, especially if you work on your own, maybe team up with somebody and have a bit of accountability. You have?
I've got
Brilliant.
A brilliant colleague who's another EFT practitioner in Berlin, and she's fantastic. We meet every week and go through what we've done, and it does, just knowing someone's going to say, have you done that? You don't need them to be like, well, why haven't you done it? Just knowing that they're going to say, have you done it? Even if they're going to go, well, that's all right if you haven't. just knowing they're going to ask makes you do it.
It does, doesn't it?
For me,
Absolutely.
it does,
Just that little bit of accountability can really push things on. So
I absolutely agree. That's a really good thing to have in place.
Sounds like you're on that one already.
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes though that can slide, and we can just chat and not ask each other what we've done in the last week. So we need to be accountable about our accountability.
Yes. And think about your non-negotiables as well. So if these things are important to you to maintain that sense of calm and that sense of, organisation, what are your non-negotiables? What do you absolutely have to do to make sure that you can keep that going?
Feel calm. Yeah.
So is it like your month end? You absolutely have to do your month end, even if it's just half a day or even a couple of hours. It might not take that long, but that's a non-negotiable. So that is in your diary, and you do it on that day.
Yeah, it would be that. It would be staying 2 months ahead with my creation for the membership. They're the two things that I can think of at the moment, and I think that there will be more as I spend more time. It's so different having a business that you work on 2 days a week than one that's full time. That's your main thing. So I think as I get more into that mindset, and that this is me, this is who I am, and this is what I do, I'll find more things that are that need to be done.
You grow into it.
Yeah.
But I think the overarching thing is keep it simple in a way that works for you.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy, isn't it, to get into quite complicated mechanisms and maybe overthink things.
Yeah.
Keep it as simple as you possibly can in a way that works for you. And you're flying already, but you'll fly in exactly the way you want to.
Yeah. This is so lovely though. It's just that step back, isn't it? And having you here as that outside perspective with all of those strategies that I already know, but would never have occurred to me on my own to be like, oh yeah, that is what I need to do. Brilliant. I love coaching.
Fabulous. And if we had more time, I'd actually sit you at the table over here, and we'd do it all. We'd actually start doing it together as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we could do that next time if you.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah. Brilliant. Good. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
So, are we ready for some EFT?
I think so.
So what would you like some help with today?
Oh my goodness. Do you know, since we started talking about it, I've gone backwards and forwards on so many different things. Because I know you and I had talked about childhood trauma and self-soothing and how that has manifested itself. So I think I would like to dig into that a little bit, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Because I've realised a lot of things over the years from working on my own self, and how that has come about and why I am the way I am and why I act in ways that I am. Maybe we can, I don't know, can we do that?
We can, we absolutely can, yeah. We can always do a longer session and cut it down on the video. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm wondering whether to go through the EFT points first, because we've not tapped together before, have we? Or whether to just make a start, because sometimes learning the points can feel like it interrupts the flow of what you're saying. So shall we learn the points first?
Okay.
So when we do EFT, there's a series of points that we use. We start here on the side of the hand, and this is the karate chop point. That's it.
All 4 fingers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just make sure that you get the point. You don't have to worry exactly where it is. So that we say our setup statement here, which is, even though I have this problem, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So the 3 parts of that are the even though, which stays constant, and then I have this problem. So when we tap properly, we'll talk about the things that you have brought to the session. And then I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
So that's our affirmation. And we can change that if it doesn't fit, but it seems like that's working okay for you just now. So we do that 3 times, and then we move on to the eyebrows. So the first point is just where your eyebrow begins. Yeah, that's it. And you can do one side or the other, or you can do both. And that's the same for the hand point. You can do both by doing it like that if you want to. It looks a bit odd, but and then the next point is here at the side of your eye. You will forget these, and we'll go back over them, so don't worry about memorising them. So again, one side or the other or both. And that's, you've got it perfect there. So it's on the bone, not so far back as your temples, and not so close in that it would make you blink. And then your next one, you might need to move your glasses. It's under your eye, again on the bone of the eye socket, and one side or the other or both. Yeah, that's perfect.
How hard do I need to be going?
So quite gentle, really. Sometimes sometimes we do something called tap and rant when people are angry, and you can end up like hammering on your face. But yeah, we're just quite gentle, really. It's just a bit of pressure. And then under the nose is the next one. So that's just there. That's quite an easy one. And then the chin point is below your lower lip. It's not on your chin. It's kind of the innermost point.
There.
Yeah. Maybe down a tiny bit. Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
So our next point is the collarbone. So if you find the notches of your collarbone, and then move out and down about 2 inches. And if you just sort of tap around gently there, you'll feel somewhere where it feels slightly more sensitive or tender. Can you find it?
Oh, yeah. Is it on the bone?
It's not on the bone, it's on the softer part, so it's a little bit out and down from the bone. Don't worry about it too much. If we're tapping with like all of your fingers there or the flat of your hand there, you're getting the point anyway. So don't worry too much about being precise on that one.
Don't overthink it.
Yeah, exactly. And some people use a different point there, so we'll not worry too much. The next one is down from the armpit, so it's about 4 inches down. It's on your bra line.
Okay. So why are these points significant?
So these are meridian end points. So it's just over half of the meridians are included when we tap these points. The last one is the top of the head, so we just go around in a circle. And there's a lot of meridians that meet there. So so they're points on the meridian system, really. So the meridian system, just to explain a bit more about it, is the system that carries your body's energy around. So it's like a circulatory system for your energy, and anything that you can struggle with in life has a corresponding blockage in the meridian system. So before, I was going to say, when I was going to talk about the history before, EFT came out of thought field therapy, which was the first thing to bring the meridian system and talk therapy together, and that had a different set of points for each problem, depending on which meridian was most likely to have the blockage. EFT just has one sequence for everything, because it works really well. For a long time we were tapping on these meridian points and just sort of knowing that it works and seeing that it works. But very recently there's been some scientific evidence they've put dye into people and been able to see that these points do exist. I'm not really saying that very well, but I can
understand
link
what you mean.
I can link the research that showed that. So,
that's really interesting.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what we're gonna do.
Brilliant.
So do you want to tell me a bit more about what we're working on?
Yeah. So I think there's a bit of a theme through life around loss. Started when I was very young, so 5.5, 6 years old. I lost my mum, and then throughout my teenage years and up into my early 20s, then lost other significant, more immediate members of my family, so grandparents, aunties, and such. So there was a lot of loss in a very condensed period of time of very significant people in my life. And although I've done some sort of, some counselling around that, it's not something that we talked about a lot back then. There was a lot of kind of tentativeness around, well, if we talk about it, will we upset other people? And you kind of get into the kind of people pleasing and reading the energy of the room, and that kind of, I guess, trauma response, isn't it? Because you don't want to upset people by bringing it up or asking questions. And so what I found was that I started to self-soothe with sugar.
Okay.
And that seems to have, and it took me until my early 40s to realise this. But I would find very sort of secretive behaviour around, we were very much raised during the week by my grandparents. And my grandma had this island in her kitchen, in the middle of the kitchen. And on the back of that island, in one of the cupboards, was all of the sweet stuff that she would use for baking. So there was do you remember I don't know if you're old enough to remember the dissolvable jelly cubes, if that's still a thing. Dissolvable jelly cubes to make jelly.
Yeah.
Weird. And things like glassy cherries and icing sugar on all of those kinds of things. And when nobody was around or I thought nobody was looking, I would then be in the back of that cupboard, sat behind that island, squirreling away all of that nice sweet stuff. Or my hands would be in the biscuit tin, and and a lot of that got written off as she's just got a sweet tooth, but actually that has become problematic for me through the years, especially when I get emotional about things. Straight to the sugar.
Yeah. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll start tapping on how that's manifesting now, so the sugar, and then as we tap, memories might come up, and you've obviously got a very clear understanding of how that's linked back to childhood, but we'll just let your subconscious take us there. So as we're tapping, if a memory comes up, if a thought comes up, even if it seems irrelevant, just stop me and let me know.
Okay? Yes, we have tissues just in case.
That's good.
I'll take these off just in case. Knock them off. Okay.
So yeah, let's just start and see where we get to. So even though I have this sugar craving, and it feels quite problematic, I love and accept all of myself anyway. Even though my emotions...
It's quite hard to say.
Yeah, it can be. Are you happy to stick with...
Yeah, go with it.
Yeah. Even though my emotions often lead me to the sugar. And I've got a lot of judgment of myself around that. I choose to love and accept all of me anyway. Even though I have these sugar cravings. And I can be really critical of myself. I choose to love and accept all of me anyway. Okay, and on to the eyebrows.
Okay.
I have these sugar cravings. I've had them for a long time. I learnt when I was little to go for the sugar if I was feeling strong emotions. I'd have a lot of judgment of myself for that. I can be really critical of myself. I have this habit. I go straight for the sugar. And I wonder if I could be kind to myself about that. I go straight for the sugar. And I'm still worthy and deserving of love. I go straight for the sugar. And I'm finding some compassion about that now. I've learnt this behaviour as a really small child. I learnt that sugar meant comfort. And I can see how that happened. I can see how I learnt that. I'd really like to unlearn it now. But I can see how it came about. And I'm ready to be kind to myself. I have this sugar craving. And I love and accept who I am anyway. And take a deep breath. How are you feeling?
That was really hard to say.
Yeah.
I was quite surprised.
Yeah.
Very surprised.
So we went towards the judgment and criticism because I could see how hard it was for you to say I love and accept myself. So that made me feel like that's how I could see that there was some self-criticism going on.
Yeah, no, you're on the nose.
So yeah, that love and accept myself can be hard for people sometimes, and if it gets too hard, we can choose a different affirmation. We can say, I choose to feel safe anyway, or I'm ready to learn to love and accept myself. But I think I'm sort of pushing you with saying that, because I think you're sort of ready to go in that direction.
No, I appreciate you doing that, because you're right, you've read it brilliantly. I am ready to go in that direction. It's been a long time coming. But relationship wise as well, I mean, it all sort of feeds in, doesn't it? How relationships have gone, and how you don't feel worthy when a relationship ends. And again, that goes back to, everything I do as well. Yeah. But, that internal questioning of, am I worthy? Am I deserving? When you've had so much loss through bereavement, but also loss of relationships, you really do start to question that on quite a deep level. And those little voices do sort of nag in the background, even though your logical brain's like, yes, I am, I absolutely am. Yeah. That little voice in the back is like, but are you?
So are you happy to go down that route and explore that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's go back into tapping. Okay. Even though there's a little voice in the back of my head.
Even though there's a little voice in the back of my head.
That questions whether I'm worthy and deserving.
That questions whether I'm worthy and deserving.
Of love and affection.
Of love and affection.
I accept that that's there.
I accept that that's there. We're going again.
And I love and accept all of me anyway.
And I love and accept all of me anyway.
Even this little voice.
Even this little voice.
Even though I have this little voice.
Even though I have this little voice.
Telling me that I'm not worthy and deserving.
Telling me that I'm not worthy and deserving.
Of love and affection.
Of love and affection.
I accept that that's there.
I accept that that's there.
And I love and accept all of me anyway.
And I love and accept all of me anyway.
Even though I have this little critical voice.
Even though I have this little critical voice.
That doesn't want me to believe.
That doesn't want me to believe.
That I'm worthy and deserving of love.
That I'm worthy and deserving of love.
I accept that voice is there.
I accept that voice is there.
And I love and accept every part of me now.
And I love and accept every part of me now.
Onto the eyebrows. This critical voice.
This critical voice.
It tells me that I'm not worthy and deserving.
It tells me that I'm not worthy and deserving.
It tells me that I shouldn't have love and affection.
It tells me that I shouldn't have love and affection.
And it throws all of these past memories at me.
And it throws all of these past memories at me.
To give me the evidence.
To give me the evidence.
That I shouldn't have love and affection.
That I shouldn't have love and affection.
This little voice.
This little voice.
I don't want to hear it.
I don't want to hear it.
I don't want to listen to that voice.
Definitely don't want to listen to that voice.
It's so mean to me.
It is so mean to me.
I just want to shut it in another room.
I just want to shut it in another room.
And this voice is part of me.
And this voice is part of me.
And I don't really want to shut part of me away.
And I don't really want to shut part of me away.
I wonder if I could turn towards this voice.
I wonder if I could turn towards this voice.
Not to believe it.
Not to believe it.
Not to listen to what it wants me to think.
Not to listen to what it wants me to think.
But just to understand what its motivation is.
But just to understand what its motivation is.
I'm turning towards this little voice now.
I'm turning towards this little voice now.
I'm turning towards it with a question.
I'm turning towards it with a question.
If you need to close your eyes, you can, and just move from point to point as we do different statements. Little voice.
Little voice.
Do you really believe that I don't deserve love and affection?
Do you really believe that I don't deserve love and affection?
Or are you just trying to keep me safe?
Or are you just trying to keep me safe?
Little voice.
Little voice.
Do you want to hurt me?
Do you want to hurt me?
Or do you want to look after me?
Or do you want to look after me?
And we'll just tap quietly and tune into that little voice and see if we get any answers. Anything coming up?
I think it's probably defence.
Yeah.
Keeping me safe.
I wonder if this little voice is trying to defend me.
I wonder if this little voice is trying to defend me.
I wonder if this little voice really wants me to be safe.
I wonder if this little voice really wants me to be safe.
I wonder if this little voice cares for me.
I wonder if this little voice cares for me.
I wonder if this little voice loves me.
I wonder if this little voice loves me.
Even though it's telling me that I shouldn't deserve love and affection.
Even though it's telling me I shouldn't deserve love and affection.
Maybe this little voice is misguided.
Maybe this little voice is misguided.
But maybe its heart's in the right place.
But maybe its heart's in the right place.
I wonder if this little voice would listen to me now.
I wonder if this little voice would listen to me now.
I have a message for you, little voice.
I have a message for you, little voice.
I can see that you're trying to do good work.
I can see that you're trying to do good work.
I can see how hard you're working.
I can see how hard you're working.
To try and keep me safe.
To try and keep me safe.
And I'm ready to let you know.
And I'm ready to let you know.
That I am safe.
That I am safe.
I'm safe already.
I'm safe already.
And I wonder if you could have a break.
And I wonder if you could have a break.
I wonder if you could stop telling me these things.
I wonder if you could stop telling me these things.
Because I know that they're not really true.
Because I know that they're not really true.
There's another part of me that knows.
There's another part of me that knows.
That I am worthy and deserving of love.
That I am worthy and deserving of love.
That I always have been worthy and deserving of love.
That I always have been worthy and deserving of love.
And I'm ready to let you know.
And I'm ready to let you know.
That I know that now.
That I know that now.
So I thank you for trying to keep me safe.
So I thank you for trying to keep me safe.
And I'm ready to let you have a rest now.
And I'm ready to let you have a rest now.
You've worked so hard for all these years.
You've worked so hard for all these years.
It's time for you to have a nap.
It's time for you to have a nap.
And I know that you'll always be there.
And I know that you'll always be there.
And I know now that you're trying to do good.
And I know now that you're trying to do good.
So I'm ready to come back and talk to you.
So I'm ready to come back and talk to you.
And let you know that I don't need this kind of help.
And let you know that I don't need this kind of help.
Anytime that it gets too much.
Anytime that it gets too much.
We're on the same team now.
We're on the same team now.
And I am worthy and deserving of love.
And I am worthy and deserving of love.
And so are you, little voice.
And so are you, little voice.
Every part of me is worthy and deserving of love.
Every part of me is worthy and deserving of love.
And I believe that now in every cell.
And I believe that now in every cell.
Take a deep breath. Thank you for doing that and going so deep.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Okay, yeah, surprised, but yeah, good.
Do you want to say more about the surprise?
Surprised at the reaction, or my reaction. I wasn't expecting to have such an emotional reaction to it.
Yeah.
Which kind of knocked me sideways a little bit, but I just thought, no, if that's what's going to come up, then let's lean into it, rather than, because I think I have, and a lot of people maybe do have a propensity to, when it feels uncomfortable, we move away from it.
Absolutely.
Where, you know, and as a coach as well, we talk about that, don't we? Leaning into it and going through it, because then that's how you, you know, get past it and you don't get that kind of repeat.
Yeah, absolutely. And doing it gently as well and at your own pace. And not everyone wants to turn straight towards that critical little voice, because you've been incredibly brave and incredibly willing to just jump right in.
Thank you.
So where do you feel now on that? So if you were to, we didn't do this at the start, and we would usually do this at the start, I remember, is to rate on a scale from 0 to 10. So let's firstly go with that belief. I am worthy and deserving of love.
Now or at the beginning?
Let's do now, and then if you can think to the beginning.
Okay, so I suppose if we were to kind of rate it out of 10.
Yeah.
10 being worthy and 1 being not worthy, I guess. Yeah. Probably about a 4 or a 5.
Okay.
At the time, but that feels remarkably quite different now. Okay. I'd probably go more a 7 or an 8.
That's brilliant.
On the way up there.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So do you want to do some more tapping on that to bring it a bit higher?
Yeah.
Or shall we return to the sugar?
I think that, let's stick with it, because I think it's all linked. I'm just going to grab a tissue really quickly. Right. But it's all linked in together, I think. So I think if we stick with it, that will probably help with the sugar issue as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we're going back into that feeling of being worthy and deserving of love. So we've gone from a 4 to a 7. 7, would you say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And let's talk a little bit more about what's left in that. What do you feel it would take to get you to a 10? What do you feel is stopping you from being at a 10 now?
True belief, I think.
Okay.
Getting there, but I think it's that true belief of absolutely I am. And it's that real sort of full self-belief. I do believe in myself. I believe in my own abilities. There's evidence to support that. But again, little voice. Really? Really? Are you? Just every now and again.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back into tapping. Anything that comes up, you can stop me at any time. So if anything pops into your head as we go. So even though I don't quite believe that I'm worthy and deserving of love. And I'm getting there. But there's still a little bit of doubt left. And I love and accept all of myself anyway. Even though I still have this little bit of doubt. About whether I'm worthy and deserving of love. That's okay. It's okay that I have that. And I accept me anyway. Even though there's still this little bit of doubt. And I just want to push it away. I just want rid of that now. Haven't we done this yet? And I'm ready to accept where I am in this moment. And I love and accept all of me anyway. This doubt. This little bit of doubt. It just won't go away. I just want rid of it. I'm sick of this doubt. I want to throw it out. I want to kick it out of the door.
Out the window.
I want to kick it out the window. Had enough of this doubt. I want to believe that I'm worthy and deserving of love. And this little bit of doubt is stopping me. And that's really annoying. But I wonder if this little bit of doubt is part of me too. I wonder if this little bit of doubt deserves love and affection. I don't love this bit of doubt. I really want rid of it. And that's okay. Who would love this bit of doubt?
No one.
I'm not superhuman. And that's okay. But this little bit of doubt is there. I'm living with it anyway. I'm ready to learn to turn towards it. Even if I feel really angry with it. I don't want to be friends with this doubt. I just want it to leave me alone. But this doubt has its own thoughts. This doubt thinks it's protecting me. Because what could happen if I really believed? What would happen if I believed I was worthy and deserving of love? I wonder if I'd be at risk. Are you okay to go quite deep again?
Yeah.
I wonder if I'd be at risk of more loss. If I believed I was worthy and deserving of love. If I welcomed love back in. There could be more loss. That's too scary. That's far too scary. No wonder this doubt is protecting me. No wonder this doubt wants to keep me safe.
I've got a new relationship coming up now.
You've got what, sorry?
New relationship coming up now. In a new relationship.
Okay. And is there fear within that? This is really scary. Getting into a new relationship. I could suffer more loss here. I'm making myself so vulnerable. This is the voice of doubt. That wants to keep me safe. And And I do want to be safe.
And I do want to be safe.
And I don't want to suffer more loss.
And I don't want to suffer more loss.
And it's okay that I feel that way.
And it's okay that I feel that way.
And it's okay to open up as well.
And it's okay to open up as well.
I'm ready to do this so gently.
I'm ready to do this so gently.
I've been through so much.
I've been through so much.
And I'm ready to be kind to myself now.
And I'm ready to be kind to myself now.
Opening up is scary.
Opening up is scary.
And I might not want to do it all at once.
And I might not want to do it all at once.
I might want to be careful and gentle here.
I might want to be careful and gentle here.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
I can manage this however I want to manage it.
I can manage this however I want to manage it.
As I learn to believe.
As I learn to believe.
That I'm worthy and deserving of love.
That I'm worthy and deserving of love.
And what's more.
And what's more.
I'm really capable.
I'm really capable.
Of handling anything that comes my way.
Of handling anything that comes my way.
I'm worthy and deserving of love.
I'm worthy and deserving of love.
I believe in love.
I believe in love.
And I believe that it's worth it.
And I believe that it's worth it. Yes.
I believe that it's worth the risk.
I believe that it's worth the risk.
And I believe that I can handle the risk.
And I believe that I can handle the risk.
I'm ready to trust myself now.
I'm ready to trust myself now.
And I'm ready to be gentle as well.
And I'm ready to be gentle as well.
Managing this in the kindest way for me.
Managing this in the kindest way for me.
Deep breath. How does that feel?
That feels better. I feel like I've purged.
Yeah. Yeah. So does that kind of all feel right? Does that feel true to you that doubt is protecting you from the possibility?
Oh yeah,
of loss?
yeah. It definitely feels like it's a defense mechanism, but it's interesting how it's all links together.
Yeah.
I think because you don't always, we quite often keep one situation in isolation. So fear of a new relationship, loss and bereavement, being a solo business owner, whatever that is, we put those into little boxes when actually how we move from one to the other is all very much linked.
It's all based on the same core underlying beliefs, and we behave in the ways that we behave in all of our different aspects of life.
Yeah, it's interesting just where my brain's gone from starting off with sugar and self-soothing right the way through to actually present day of how scary a new relationship is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So how are you feeling on that worthy and deserving scale now?
Much better now. I think there's still work to do.
There will
be. I don't think it'll be
It's
solved
not
in
a
one session.
thing.
But yeah, definitely more convinced, and I think it feels the more we started tapping and the more that kind of released itself. I can almost sort of feel my shoulders dropping, which sounds bizarre, doesn't it? But kind of that, actually, the more you hear that, the more you believe that you are worthy and deserving.
And you
can say it to yourself, that inner voice.
Absolutely. And you can make an exercise out of that, tapping around the points, do it in the mirror, just I'm worthy and deserving of love on every point. And then if the voice of doubt comes in, you can just say, I can hear you, and have a conversation, because it's possible that you could get that voice of doubt on your side as this new relationship begins, and you could turn towards that voice and say, are we ready for this bit? And collaborate, rather than sort of kicking it out the window, which is completely fine and understandable to want to do.
Have a chat with it first and see if you then want to kick it out the window.
I think the whole of the work is finding ways to love the bits that we really don't want to love. So you just, the voices that are in you that you think, I really don't want that, that's a part of you that needs love as well. And sometimes it can take a really long time, because it might be a part of you that's self-sabotaged and lost you a really good opportunity, and you can't love that until you've processed that loss. But
Brilliant, thank you.
How are you feeling now?
Better.
Would you like to, so what we can sometimes do when we've done some really deep, intense work like we've done today, is we can do a round of tapping just to bring your energy back up, bring you back into the sort of everyday world. Would you like to do that?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do
Cool.
that in action. Okay.
So even though I've done some really deep work today,
and
that can be a bit tiring,
I'm
ready to get on with my day now. And I'm ready to return to the everyday world.
Good affirmation.
Even though we've dived really deep today, I'm ready to return to my everyday life. And be kind to myself for the rest of the day. Even though I've done some really intense work. And I'm giving myself credit for that. Because I worked really hard today. And I'm ready to return to everyday life. And get on with the rest of my day. I've worked really hard. I've got into some really deep stuff. And now it's time to set it aside. I'm ready to put that in a box. And just set it aside for now. And I commit to coming back to that box. When the time is right. And when the situation's appropriate. And right now I'm coming back to my day. My next thing is... What's your next thing?
I've got a menopause webinar later.
Okay. So I'm getting ready for my menopause webinar.
And
I'm going to do it brilliantly. I'm going to be so focused. Because I'm great at this work. And back to my everyday world. With kindness and gentleness. Deep breath. Yeah. Sometimes it helps just to, come back to the everyday a little bit, because when we've gone really, really deep, it's not nice to leave people in that state and let them climb back up themselves.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being willing to go so deep. It's incredible.
My pleasure. I hope it helps, if anybody else is watching this and is worried about doing that.
Yeah, and absolutely anyone that's watching, you can tap along. Thank you so much for that session, Suzanne. I really appreciate how you were willing to go so deep and the amazing work that you've done. Unfortunately, we lost video for part of that, but we're coming back now to just do a little ending, and hopefully the audio really helped. If you were tapping along with that, just move from point to point with each statement.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Saf. And I think particularly as people working in the industry, we think that we have to be perfect and we have to have it all figured out in order to be able to guide people through, and that's not the case. And I think that's probably what I wanted to demonstrate today, was that we still all have our stuff, and that's okay too.
It absolutely is, and it's so...
It's how we approach that, I suppose, that's the important thing.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's of massive value to see that, so that people don't feel like they have to be all sorted, because there just is no such thing.
Absolutely. If anybody says they have all their stuff together, it's probably not true.
Yeah, it's very suspicious.
All the time. Brilliant. Thanks ever so much, Saf. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.